What if I told you that everything you've been striving for, the perfect life, the perfect you, was actually keeping you stuck? Yeah, everything. All the hours you've spent chasing that flawless version of yourself, believing that once you get there, everything will fall into place. But here's the shocking truth. Perfection is a lie. It's a trap. You're running on a treadmill, constantly pushing harder, doing more, but you're not getting anywhere. Why? Because the perfect version of you, the one you're chasing, doesn't exist. And here's the kicker. Chasing perfection isn't just frustrating, it's draining. You think you'll finally be happy when you reach it, but all you're doing is burning yourself out. But here's the good news. Realizing perfection doesn't exist is actually the greatest thing you'll ever hear. The moment you let go of that unattainable ideal is the moment you unlock true freedom. Stay with me, and I'll show you why embracing imperfection will give you something better than perfection ever could: peace, growth, and the power to live the life you were meant to live. Before we go any further, I have one small favor to ask. If you're done chasing after the perfect life and you're ready to find peace in imperfection, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. I promise what's coming next is going to completely shift how you think about yourself and your journey. You'll definitely want to stick around for this. So hit subscribe and let's dive into it. The Stoics, ancient philosophers renowned for their mastery of inner peace, possessed an insight that many of us still find difficult to fully grasp. Perfection is an unattainable ideal. For figures like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, philosophy was not merely theoretical. They practiced Stoicism daily, integrating its principles into their lives. What did they teach? That the pursuit of perfection is, in fact, a trap. You may be wondering, but isn't striving for excellence a fundamental part of personal growth? And indeed, growth is essential. However, what the Stoics understood, through their own struggles and reflections, is that the relentless chase for perfection leads only to frustration. Why? Because perfection is an illusion. Rather than fixating on an ideal that constantly eludes us, the Stoics emphasize something far more empowering, focusing on what we can control. Our thoughts, actions, and reactions, how we engage with ourselves and the world around us. They acknowledged that we do not have control over everything, life, people, or outcomes. No matter how hard we try, we cannot dictate these things. But crucially, we can control how we respond, how we react, and most importantly, where we direct our energy. This mindset, a shift from perfectionism to acceptance and self-mastery, holds the key to true freedom. It is the freedom to stop chasing what is unattainable and to begin living fully in the present moment. The moment you cease striving for an ideal that doesn't exist, you begin to experience something far more authentic, a life grounded in reality. You've likely encountered the phrase, "nobody's perfect," but have you ever taken a moment to reflect on why, even with this knowledge, the pressure to attain perfection still lingers so strongly within us? We live in an age where perfection is not only desired, but expected. Everywhere we turn, we are bombarded with images, ideals, and standards that perpetuate this unattainable goal. On social media, we are constantly exposed to carefully curated lives that appear flawless. Advertisements, too, constantly sell us the notion that we must fit a certain mold, whether it's in our appearance, our lifestyle, or the idea that we should always be at the pinnacle of success. Perfection is not just something we strive for, it's something the world demands of us. This pressure to be perfect is so pervasive, it has become a part of the very fabric of modern life. It seeps into the way we measure our success, the way we compare ourselves to others, and the way we view ourselves. It's in the very air we breathe, and despite knowing that no one is truly perfect, we find ourselves caught in a cycle of self-criticism and comparison, constantly striving to meet these unattainable standards. But here's the hard truth. Perfectionism isn't a sign of ambition. It's a roadblock. It's not a path that leads to improvement or fulfillment. Instead, it keeps you stuck in a state of perpetual dissatisfaction and frustration. You're not moving forward. You're simply chasing something that doesn't exist. Every time you convince yourself that perfection is the goal, you divert your focus and energy toward things that are beyond your control. You waste time obsessing over the small details, endlessly refining and correcting, but never truly progressing. Instead of embracing the journey of growth, you're anchored by the false belief that you must fix every flaw before you can be successful or content. The pursuit of perfection doesn't drive you to excellence. It traps you in a never-ending cycle of self-doubt and inner conflict. The more you chase it, the more it eludes you, and the more you'll feel as though you're running in circles. This cycle only deepens your sense of frustration, creating an illusion of progress, while in reality, you are standing still. True progress comes not from striving for the unattainable, but from shifting the focus from perfection to growth. Instead of obsessing over being flawless, focus on improvement, self-compassion, and resilience. It's only when you release the chains of perfectionism that you can start moving forward, embracing the imperfect, and finding peace in the process. The Stoics understood something that many of us struggle to grasp. Perfection is not the key to peace or success. Instead of wasting their time obsessing over an unattainable ideal, they chose to focus on what they could actually control, what was within their power. This simple yet profound realization lies at the heart of Stoic philosophy. We cannot control the outcomes of life, nor can we dictate how others behave or what happens in the world. Life is unpredictable, and external circumstances are often beyond our influence. But there is one thing we can control: our response to it all. Pause for a moment and reflect on that. What if, instead of trying to control every minute detail, you simply focused on doing your best every day? What if the goal wasn't perfection but progress? What if the focus was on improvement and giving your best effort no matter what happens next? That's the essence of Stoicism. Measuring ourselves not by the unattainable standard of perfection, but by how well we handle the things within our control. The Stoics taught us to ask ourselves not, "Am I perfect?" but, "How well did I respond to today's challenges?" This is not to say we should abandon the desire for growth. On the contrary, the Stoic approach encourages us to strive for progress, not perfection. The true freedom comes from understanding that you don't need to control everything to feel at peace. You don't need to chase an ideal. Instead, you need to focus on what's within your grasp, your actions, your thoughts, and your reactions. When you embrace this perspective, you realize that the power to shape your life lies not in controlling the world, but in controlling how you engage with it. This is where true strength is found. This is where you will discover your real freedom. Freedom from the burden of perfection, and freedom to live with purpose, clarity, and peace. What if I told you that your imperfections aren't your weaknesses, but your greatest strengths? Take a moment to reflect on that. Imperfection is the very essence of being human. It's through our mistakes, our failures, and our flaws that true growth occurs. When we embrace our imperfections, we unlock the potential for learning, evolving, and connecting with others in ways that perfection could never facilitate. In fact, perfection often isolates us, while our flaws allow us to relate to others, share experiences, and grow together. The Stoics understood this fundamental truth. They knew that growth doesn't come from the relentless pursuit of perfection. Rather, it stems from our willingness to fail, to fall, and then, most importantly, to rise again. The Stoics didn't view mistakes as setbacks. They saw them as opportunities, precious chances to improve, to reflect, and to strengthen our character. They knew that only through embracing failure could we uncover the lessons that lead to wisdom and true personal development. By accepting our flaws, we liberate ourselves from the suffocating pressure to be perfect. The moment we stop fighting against our imperfections, we begin to shift our focus towards something far more valuable: peace. The goal isn't to be flawless, it's to find inner peace, to practice self-compassion, and to cultivate resilience. Resilience isn't about never stumbling, it's about having the strength to keep moving forward, no matter how many times we fall. Your imperfections are not something to hide, suppress, or run from. They are, in fact, the very things that shape who you are and determine what you are capable of. It is through these imperfections that you learn, grow, and ultimately become the best version of yourself. Embrace them, for they are the foundation of your strength, your character, and your unique journey. Now, let's get real. I know you might be thinking, this all sounds good, but how do I actually live this way? How do I let go of the need for perfection and find peace? It's not just about theory, it's about taking these principles and making them a part of your daily life. So here's how you can start applying Stoic principles to embrace imperfection and live with peace. First, start by focusing on what's within your control: your thoughts, your actions, your attitude. It's so easy to get caught up in everything that's out of your control: the people around you, the things happening in the world, the outcome of your efforts. But the Stoics were crystal clear. We don't control any of that. The only thing we control is how we respond to it. When you feel the pressure to be perfect creeping in, ask yourself, what's in my control right now? Focus on your thoughts. Focus on the effort you can put in. That's all that matters. Second, accept that failure is part of life. We've all been there, falling short, making mistakes, feeling like we've let ourselves or others down. But guess what? That's not the end of the story. Failure is part of the human experience. It's not something to avoid, it's something to embrace. When you stumble, and you will, don't beat yourself up. Don't let that moment define you. The Stoics taught us that failure is a teacher, not a punishment. Pick yourself up, reflect on what went wrong, and then move forward. Every mistake is an opportunity to learn, to grow, to do better next time. You don't have to be perfect to make progress. You just need to keep going. And lastly, practice self-compassion. This is key. You are human. You are not meant to be flawless. The harshest critic you'll ever meet is the one staring back at you in the mirror. But the Stoics understood something crucial. We are all perfectly imperfect, and we have to treat ourselves with the same kindness and patience that we'd offer a friend. So when you mess up, don't call yourself names or get lost in guilt. Instead, show yourself compassion. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to be present. Be kind to yourself, acknowledge the effort, and focus on doing your best, not being the best. These are small but powerful shifts that will allow you to release the grip of perfectionism and embrace the beauty of imperfection. It's not about letting go of ambition, it's about focusing on the journey, not the destination. And most importantly, it's about finding peace in who you are right now, flaws and all. So are you ready to stop chasing the perfect life and start embracing the imperfect one you already have? It's time to let go of the unrealistic standards and start accepting yourself as you are, right here, right now. If you're committed to embracing your flaws and finding peace in the process, I want you to hit that like button right now. And here's the real question. What's one thing you can embrace about yourself today? Something that you've been holding on to, trying to fix, trying to perfect. Let it go. Share it with me in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe for more content on living a peaceful, fulfilling life, flaws and all. Because trust me, there's so much beauty in the imperfect journey. Stay with me and let's make peace with imperfection together.